Drake Troll has this article up. It's actually based on Mickey Spags' article, which, listen, Mickey Spags is a grouchy old man who's a homer for the Dallas Cowboys. If you don't know about, DallasCowboys.com, that's where he writes for. Longtime Dallas Cowboy follower and writer and contributor. But anyways, the point of the article is that the gap between the Cowboys and Eagles is not that great, and so don't expect the Eagles to run the East or to just automatically be the front runner for the East. Which, here's the thing, guys. I mean, the NFL, I think some people always think that, the team, if they lose the Super Bowl, their next step is to go win a Super Bowl, their next in line. But success in the NFL is not linear. It's cyclical, it's variable, and it's dependent on a lot of things. In fact, the team that usually loses the Super Bowl has a hard time rebounding. There's been some outliers in the last few years. The Bengals have been able to do it. Niners have been able to continue being, competitive after Super Bowl hangovers, losing anyways. But for the most part, the team that loses Super Bowl typically has a hangover or struggles to get back to the playoffs the next year. Go look it up. Anyways, all that to say is that, the gap between the Cowboys and Eagles was not large last year. If the Cowboys don't throw away a game against Jacksonville or a game against the Packers there at the end of those games, the Cowboys could be the first seed here last year, and the playoffs could have panned out much different, right? If the Cowboys don't end up getting a matchup against the Niners, if they end up playing the Eagles, they could very well have been in the conference championship. So much success in the NFL is dependent on a lot of variables. So, the gap is not that large, and there's a scenario in which the Cowboys and Eagles both get bounced from the playoffs and don't even make the playoffs, depending on how things shake out. Now, I do think they have competitive rosters, and they should be in good position to be competitive and to make a run into the playoffs, both of those teams. But there's no guarantee. You don't know how these schedules are going to play out. You don't know what teams are going to be on the rise, where things are going to fall, where you're going to get your peaks and your valleys in a season, and what your team's going to do health-wise. So there's all types of variables. The gap between the best teams and the mediocre teams is very small in the NFL. That's the way the NFL is built. It's parity, the way they do the draft, the way they do free agency. It's built to make a bunch of teams right there, kind of in that same range, so that you keep games competitive, you keep the seasons competitive. And honestly, the NFL has done a great job of that. The gap is not there. So we'll see how it plays out. And I don't think the Eagles will win the division next year. I'm not guaranteeing the Cowboys are going to do it either. I'm just saying it's going to be tough for both of those teams. But the opportunity is there. It'll depend on a lot of things. All right, let me know what you guys think. If you think the Cowboys and Eagles gap is large or small or non-existent. But let's talk about it. And, only a few more weeks, and that's a large few weeks, sorry, before we actually start to get into some real good conversations, because the season's going to start ramping up here right before we know it. And that's what we're all been waiting for, and it's going to be fun. All right, go Cowboys.